Hello, and thanks for joining us. I am super excited you could be here today because today we are going to put you into the business of becoming a profitable business funding broker. So you're going to learn today what it really is involved to add funding as a primary, even a secondary business, so you can help customers get money and then make a lot of money, make a very creative, very lucrative primary or secondary income stream. And have the conversation. I have like the guy that literally, no pun intended, you'll see what I'm talking about, created the blueprint on exactly how to do this. As a matter of fact, his actual website is businesslendingblueprint.com. So with us today is Oz Kunar. Now, Oz is a passionate entrepreneur with multiple seven-figure businesses and committed to, or excuse me, is a passionate entrepreneur and multiple seven-figure business owner. He's committed to helping individuals design and build their dream businesses. So with a mission to revolutionize the alternative lending industry, Oz is determined to impact one business loan broker at a time. Now, through his renowned training program, Business Lending Blueprint, Oz has created the most comprehensive success guide focused on leveraging low risk for high rewards and speed. So his program is built on strong principles, providing a solid foundation that follows an ethical and consultative approach, and also helps others become profitable in a very short period of time. Now, Oz is the best-selling author of two different books, an international speaker, and a coach who has mentored hundreds of different business owners on small business success and marketing. Outside of his professional accomplishments, Oz is a coffee connoisseur, a bookworm, a father of two, and a proud pet owner of Tofu. Oz, I love the name Tofu. Where did you come up with that?
Well, he's Snow White, so I didn't want to name him Snow White, and I called him just Tofu, and it stuck with him.
I love it. So it's good to have you on, man. I mean, we've run the same circle for many years, and I can, consider you to be a friend. I love what you do in the industry. So just first of all, kudos and congrats to all your success.
Appreciate it, brother. Yeah, I can say the same thing for you. We've been in parallel industries for many years, successful running companies. So it's an honor to be here again. So you united me before once more. So it's good to be back to talk about what we do on a daily basis because you and I can do this all day long, right?
Yeah, and the cool thing about you is that we have a lot of synergies, a lot of different areas. Like
For
I was a
sure.
marketer, I'm a marketer, and then got into the space. You're the same way. You were did a lot in the marketing side, and then broke into that space. But tell us a little bit. How did your journey go to get you into the loan funding, loan broker space?
Yeah, I follow this principle that I learned years ago that business is all about innovation and marketing. I think many of us tend to make it a little more complicated than that. So I used to be a door-to-door salesperson in New York, selling different products from like POS systems for restaurants to then got introduced to a merchant cash advance company. And I didn't understand half of what the gentleman was saying about the product. He then said, forget it, just get me a couple of customers who bought from you and let's ask them if they need money. And that's when I came across the industry. And after referring a few people, he handed me a check for $4,000. And that was like such a pivotal moment for me because I've never seen that size of a check with my name on it until then, right? And obviously, I dropped everything and hyper focused on that thing. And my goal was to how do I make it easy because New York is cold on winters. I don't want to be pulling on doors or calling 600 people because as you would agree, that's what the industry was doing back then, right? Just hit the phones, baby, every single day, and that's how it works. And I remember that saying that you got to innovate and you got to figure out the marketing. And that got me into the marketing industry. I bought a lot of trainings from different coaches, wanted to understand how do I generate leads on demand, meaning that how do I get in front of people who are already looking for something, right? So our industry, the lending industry is interesting. Not many people wake up thinking about becoming a business loan broker. They usually wake up, they want to invest in the stock market, they want to get into crypto, maybe they want to start an Amazon business, maybe they want to be a real estate agent. But when you innovate and do the proper marketing, I noticed that you get in front of eyeballs, and that created the marketing agency. And then we started reaching out to existing loan broker companies and saying that, hey, your marketing kind of sucks. Like you have like a floor full of people dialing, and when they walk out at 5 p.m., your marketing is over. Like you're not in front of people. So it's very human dependent marketing. And that agency took off, but something incredible happened along the way. we attracted a lot more people who are not from the industry, but they wanted to get into the industry. And there was not a lot of information out there about what this industry is and what it does. And do you need to be licensed? How do you make money? And that started the educational route. So that was the start of the marketing transitioning into coaching, to answer your question.
Love it. When you developed the business lending blueprint, love the name, by the way. Absolutely. Hope you have that thing trademarked because that's fantastic.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
So, what are some of the core principles in the lending blueprint?
The do more with less, right? So many people, when they come to us, they already have a lot going on. Like we have single moms with 3 kids, we have firefighters, we have even NBA players, and everyday people who just either want to make side income or they're tired of their corporate job. Like before we started recording, you and I were talking about the difficulties of working with the corporate world, right? Everything is slow. You're kind of stuck. You've been waiting for the next promotion for 10 years, 20 years just to make slightly more. You're kind of stuck there. When these people come to us, they're not looking to add more stuff to their plate. They're looking to do less, right? And that's why we follow the principle of it's not about doing more, it's about cutting out the things that do not work so you can focus your time on the right things, right? Then I created what's called a BAMOS structure. BAMOS is a funny, abbreviation. BAM is like bare ass minimum. Basically, we tell people like, how much do you need to make right now to keep your standard of living, right? Because usually when people look into a business opportunity, they have crazy figures in their minds. Ty, I want to make $1 million. Sure, that's like everyone. But let's start with like, how much do you need to make right now so we can give you some relief of the things that you don't have to do anymore, right? So you can lessen your hours. So that was the principle. How do we simplify the business? Because if you want to do more, you have to reduce the number of projects. That's what the word decision is, right? Incision is cutting into, decision is cutting off. So we're trying to help people make decision. And the whole business lending blueprint was created with that principle. How do we take a financial services product, which people usually deem to make it complicated, and simplify it and teach people regardless of their background so they can start adding initially side income, or if they want to go full on board and build a business with employees out of that. So that was the leading principle, that how I operate in my mind. How do I simplify stuff? How do I cut stuff out so we make the more time? And that worked for many people from, thousands of people from all walks of life, basically. So that's our guiding principle all the time. What do we focus on right now? How do we take imperfect action, right? Many people who have usually, common jobs and they come from academics, they're big on trying to learn everything. As you and I know, as entrepreneurs, we don't know everything. We're trying to figure out a lot of stuff, but they shouldn't stop us from taking massive action. So we focus on taking imperfect and massive action. And if you just do that, results will come. As you get results, reduce what is hurting you more so you can allocate that time to do more of what you love to and what makes money.
Powerful. One of the things I love about you and love about Lending Blueprint is that I found that whenever somebody's getting into something new or they're looking to add an income stream, they're looking to be able to create a primary one, getting customers, getting leads, is like the number one thing that they need to figure out. That's the number one thing they're worried about. It's the number one thing they're scared about. What I love about Lending Blueprint is that you guys, that is your focus. Like a large part of your focus is helping them in an area that, let's just be honest, most of the industry just completely neglect. And then people pay for packages and programs and stuff, and then they never get anywhere because they don't know how to get customers in the door. So how does that work? What do you do in the blueprint to help people actually generate the leads and attract high value customers?
That's a great question. We start with eliminating limiting beliefs, Ty, right? So people usually have preconceived notions when it comes to sales and marketing. You have people who come to our program saying that I've been selling for 25 years. I know how to sell. Just get me to lenders, or just if you give me access to the lenders, I'll succeed. And the answer is you won't, right? So you need, like I said in the beginning, business is all about innovation and marketing. We innovate on people's behalf, like Business Lending Blueprint constantly innovates. Marketing is the weapon. You might suck as a salesperson, but if you figure out the marketing, you'll get lucky every once in a while. I'm not saying sales is not important, but marketing is ever more important. You want to get to a point of having more leads than you know what to do with. That's our entire focus. We tell people, mastery will take time. For you to master merchant cash advance or SBA or invoice factoring, that's going to come with time as you practice it. But what you need to do is get in front of people, and usually people do not want to do that because they have limiting beliefs on that one. They think they're going to be on the streets, pulling on doors. They need to do this. They need to get out of their comfort zone. And we train them on like, hey, do you really want to make this change or not? Right? Because the old version of you brought you here, which you told us you're not happy with. If everything was fine, you wouldn't have found us, right? So something is bothering you, obviously. It could be, financial limitations, time limitations, resources. So you have that going on. For us to resolve that, you have to follow the blueprint. And then blueprint is primarily showing you so many different marketing vehicles based on what you're already good at, right? So if you're 40 years old, you've been doing some stuff until that age. So let's take that and help you niche down in an area that's comfortable with you. Some people come in, they're a little more savvy on online stuff. We teach them how to do paid advertising or organic marketing through different channels. Others are great in front of the camera. We tell them, hey, you should you should be like Ty Crandall, getting in front of the camera, shoot, and get to your audience that way. Others are great people in person, networking, right? And some people are manager times. They want to stay behind the scenes and we show them how to hire people. Because marketing can be done, as you know, in so many different ways, but it becomes a problem when it is not in tune with your values and who you are. And that's what we help people. So it's a lot less on the technical marketing stuff because that can be figured out. We have videos on that one. We have a video library with like 140 videos. But I want to get to the core of what stops people from actually doing the stuff that they promised they would do. And it usually comes down to if you push them to do something, say only Facebook works, but then they're not aligned with that. That's not true. There's so many other ways, right? It's the process of us getting to know them and just prescribe the right solution for them to get going because people know that program works, like business works. They just don't know that it's going to work for them. So our goal is to help them get a win, even if it's a small win, like they get a small deal funded, or they get the credit card process, or they do credit repair. Once they see that, it's a very easy transformation. After that point, they just do whatever you tell them to do. They just need to believe that they can do it because they can see others do it and it works for them. It's just a matter of time. All we do is we call it activation points. We work on reducing the activation point on people, and that requires for us to know them. And that's what we spend time on. That's why the program works, to answer your question.
Yeah, and I love that because, first of all, like if I look at Credit Suite where we are today, like I'm an email marketer. That's what I
Yeah.
knew coming in, right? And I also knew digital ads. And here we are, like a decade plus later, and we still are driven based on email and based on
Yes.
digital ads, right? And so I talk to a lot of people that are the same thing. They're like, how do I market? Well, like you said, there's 1,000 ways to
So
market.
many ways.
What are you good at? Do you want to go door knocking? Do you want to cold call, or do you want to do digital? Like, what do you want to do? And I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure we've seen people do everything. Like we've seen people
Yes.
run newspaper ads and like stuff I never even thought of before, right? So I love that you take that approach because like if you don't like it, you're not gonna do
You
it.
won't do it.
It's like, I've been like you, I've been cold called, knocking on doors in my life. I didn't like that. So I
No.
wanted to go to and pivot the things that I like. And then those things I still do today. So I love that you do that. What do you do in regards to automation? Do you help them? Because it sounds like your strategy is all about getting the fastest results with the minimum amount of work. Not to say it's not a lot of work. It's anything's work.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
what do you do to help with the working smart, the automation part?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we focused on what are some of the bottlenecks. Let's say we have this person, we handle the mindset issues like limiting beliefs, and they're ready to go and they're taking action. What slows down the process of them getting to money, right? So in the funding industry, there are a couple of unchangeable facts, like you need statements, bank statements from a couple of documentation from people, right? And also, we know as marketers, follow up is really, really important. So when you get a lead, you need to stay on that person. You can do that manually. We can automate it. That's why we release within BLB, and every member within BLB get access to this for, believe it or not, free when they join. We call autopilot. Autopilot gives them the website because many people, when they join, they need online presence. And we don't want them to be a referral partner for BLB. It's easy for us to slap our logo on a website and give it to them so they can just send deals to us. we want to teach entrepreneurship. That's one of my values. I want them to be independent entrepreneur. That's why we custom design their website and put their logo, their own phone number, their own email. We also built a funnel we call a document collection funnel. So when the potential client goes to our broker's website, they go through a survey, and based on the responses, they're qualified, disqualified, and then they see a recording, a professional video, telling them what the next steps are. The whole process is designed to replace the need for our brokers to be on the phone explaining the process, what is needed first, and people can upload their documents and then submit it. And on the back end, they're ready to go. They have a completed file. We also activated what we call BLB Oracle. BLB Oracle is an AI system built into the autopilot. So that way, when they have this file, the next question is, who would I fund this through, right? So before, it would require them to go watch more training and understand the lending partners. They can literally take the parameters from this file and ask Oracle, because Oracle is trained by the 10 years of training BLB has gone through, right? All the recordings, the lenders training, lending partners, funding boxes. So they place it in there. It literally tells you, hey, this is what you need to do that. This is who you need to send it to. This is the potential offer. This is how much you're making. So we streamline that process too. As you can see, our model is based on eliminating the bottlenecks, because as a business owner, before we got our business to $25+ million, every day you're dealing with bottlenecks. What is the bottleneck? Oh, bottleneck is Oz. Okay, then we need to hire some person to handle that. What is the next bottleneck? Well, it's the marketing. Okay, then you hire a marketing person to eliminate that process. We're going through the same process for our people. Then the same system, the CRM system, has automated text messages and emails. So our brokers do not have to stay on the person. So based on the responses, they can be followed up, and that eliminates, because as you know, times have changed. When I first started marketing, they used to say that every customer needs like 6 touch points. Right now, it's like 16 and maybe 20. Who knows? They're distracted all the times. It's not reasonable to expect a human being without any tools and technology to be able to do that for every person. So that's one of the reasons that people are getting a lot of great results with that, because now we not only automated all of that, also reduced the demand for our support team to answer questions. They can just have a conversation with Oracle and get a lot of the stuff answered through our built-in AI model.
Yeah, I love so many things about you're talking about. You're really talking about tools. You're talking about tech. You're talking about training, and then you're way ahead, right? You're talking about AI and using AI to make a lot of those decisions and that's so smart, because teaching people a bunch of different funding products is like a freaking lost cause.
Yes.
Well, that's impossible. But now your ability to take everything you've done and then build an AI that helps them makes so much more sense, and it just simplifies their ability for an average day everyday person,
Yes.
like come in and then basically go through your training and follow a series of steps to actually get to success.
Yeah, it works amazing, Ty. Like we activated the option for them to speak to AI as well. So if they don't want to type in, they can talk, and it can talk back. So we're adding, obviously it's a large language model, so it's going to do as well as you training. We're going to keep training. It's going to get better only. But yeah, we wanted to do something like you said, everyday person, they're having difficulties understanding, and we're trying to train them on 12 different funding options. Obviously, that's not an easy task to take on, right? With this, they can niche down on one of the options and master it. We also train AI to be a role-playing partner to them. Like one of the questions we always get is, hey, I have Ty on the phone. Let's say he says he's interested. What do I tell him? Right? You can immediately jump on, and we show it in our demos to people who want to check out BLB. Look, let's try it live right now so you can see how fast it is. So it reduces that learning curve a lot. Otherwise, they're going to wait for the customer service. We have a large community. All of that are valuable. But yeah, I think, as you know, AI will be a game changer. So earlier on with it, better equipped you are to help your customers for sure.
Yeah, staying ahead of the curve. When you're talking about funding products, you talked about merchant cash advance in the beginning, and that's kind of what got you into it. Are you teaching your tribe all funding products, or are you just saying, look, here's, because you and I both know there's like a handful of them that you really got to,
Yeah.
the other stuff are just outliers. Are you really focusing on the core handful of products they need to know, or are you trying to kind of teach them everything, a little bit about everything?
No, many people demand us to teach everything, but we go back to the same philosophy. How do we make it simple? What is the shortest distance between point A and point B? Point A meaning there's enough demand. Point B, that the average person can go through that process and start making money in the shortest amount of time. When you optimize for that, you have a couple of products, right? So, and also you have, when I was selling merchant cash advance, one of the things I didn't really like about how the industry was doing it, they're trying to stuff that product into everybody's throat no matter what, right? I'm like, that's not ethical. There are already so many other options. So you only want to offer options that are a good fit, like, demand-based marketing, right? So give them what they want, not whatever you can sell. Then yeah, you can brute force and close people on a high interest loan, high interest funding option, but that's not the way we wanted to build it. So then now we have bank related funding options, which are way more economical than any merchant cash advance. We have SBA, we have equipment leasing. So the equipment leasing industry alone is a $1 trillion industry. Every business out there, they buy equipment. Even if they buy software, that is equipment, and they want to finance that. That's a huge industry. And we also added the real estate. Like many real estate investors, I used to be a real estate investor myself. The number one problem is getting your deals funded. And after you go through a couple of properties, banks do not want to approve you. There's a whole alternative lending industry on real estate. So we brought experts on from that industry to cover that. So the essence of the program, the 10 to 12 products, main products, is how do we get someone an offer more than 95% of the time, regardless of their situation? That's why we added startup funding, existing businesses, real estate companies. So all of that, and people get access to all of that, but we always advise them to focus on one or two products, master that. Then if you want to niche down in different areas, you have those options, because we're operating from the first principle, like what makes sense for our audience. Otherwise, I get hit all the time. Probably you do. Why don't you add this unique product? Add that. My answer is 99% of the time, no, because there's not enough demand for it. It takes 8 months to put it through. There's not enough money for our brokers to make. So then it's not a good fit, right? Just like the same way that we're not giving them a list of 200-300 lenders. That's pointless. It's better to go deep with a couple of people than go wide with, try to go wide with 1,000 people. That doesn't really make sense to maximize it. So that's why we keep it at those hottest products that there's always demand, and then we can monetize it so our people make a lot more money.
Yeah. It sounds like you basically looked at every mistake I've made and you said, I'm not going to do that dumb crap.
Same here. I looked at every mistake I've made too, and I still make it. I'm like, yeah, we should teach people not to make those mistakes, because a lot of the mistakes are costly. I don't like the saying that, oh, you don't fail until you accept you fail. No, some failures can knock you out of the game, right? So you want to eliminate failure from your life as much as possible. If you mean not trying, that's different. When you try something, you're going to fail. But some failures are colossal that can put you out of business. For that reason, whatever we learn, because we can take higher risks than our audience, right? You take a risk, you learn something, you're like, yeah, that lost us money, remove it from BLB and add a new thing, or just bring that advice. And we do run a lot of live coaching style. It's not like a recorded content place. We have, coaches. We have coaching calls like 7 times a week or so on different lending options, the best practices, the success stories. So someone, not only they can go through recordings, but they can join live, because when you're trying to create transformation, it has to be immersive, right? People need to get involved with this. Otherwise, it's easy to fall back into old habits, which didn't serve you so well. So you came here, right? Then our thing is, instead of giving them a login and saying, go knock yourself out, like, yeah, we have a content library, but why don't you join the calls with different people, different personalities, and different lending options and lenders, so you can find what resonates with you,
Yeah, very much. You're big on the future, with AI and everything that you've talked about. Where do you see this going? Like, I'm interested, like the trending, where do you see the trends going in the future for really just the lending space, but more about the space of the professionals that you teach in your tribe in lending in that space?
I think as long as people stay ahead of the curve, they're gonna still make a lot of money. I think this AI trend, just like many other trends, will go up to a certain point, and people will still miss the human interaction. Nothing will replace someone having a trusted advisor as like a business loan broker. And the biggest example of that was through the pandemic, right? So everyone thought that, we can just work remotely, everything will be fine. And then every company can go remote. And you and I, we were like halfway, almost full remote anyway, so it didn't really affect us. But the first thing we noticed after a couple of months, people started missing each other. They started missing workplace. They wanted to go back and hang out with more people. So we're social animals. As much as we want to automate things and use technology, I think the AI is a buzzword, and that's going to transform a lot of the things. but it will not change the human element to the point that we want to interact with another human being. And then it's going to make it easier for people who use tools like we provide, because decision making will need to speed up, right? So funding will need to speed up. So even Amazon is talking about using drones so they can deliver in 2 hours instead of one day, which is already fast. Now they're going for faster. So the tools, I think, is going to be an augmentation process. People are saying that AI will take over. I think as long as you augment it into your life and use it as your assistant to speed things up, you're going to leave a lot of people behind, because unfortunately, any revolution, many people will not be able to catch up, and one day they will wake up and be like, what happened? Similar to people who are senior citizens right now, they couldn't catch the train on internet and smartphones, and they take the phone and give it their grandkids like, can you just check this, right? They totally missed the boat. AI is about to do that in the next couple of years to a lot of people. That's why I'm adamant about using it as an augmentation tool to speed up the process, right? If you're talking to someone, they need answers. The answers needs to be there like now, like today. While the most of the market will be so behind on this, if you're there, you're going to take advantage of a new wave, similar to .com era, right? We're going to create next new batch of millionaires and billionaires. But unfortunately, for other people who either demonize AI or they're like, oh, that thing is happening, I don't know, I don't understand it. I tell people, don't even say that ever again. Like, you don't know. That statement can make you obsolete in a couple of years. No matter how little you might know about online, get a hold of it somehow. And this is a simple recommendation for anyone. Instead of using Google, use ChatGPT. I told my team too, you're banned from using search engines from this point on. You're going to use AI because it's about breaking old habits, right? I don't know how long you've been using Google, but I've been using Google probably for 2 decades. Is it it's a strong habit? Hell yes, it's a strong habit. How do I break it? Switch it to AI, right? We're telling people it doesn't have to be for business, for simple tasks. You got to understand, you got to stay a little bit on the curve so the distance doesn't keep opening up, because it's going to get to a point that it is too much to catch up to. And obviously, as a business, we're practicing what we preach, and we want to stay on the curve as well.
I love that. A lot of lessons to be learned. Like if you think about it, like AI is catastrophic to Google. And years ago, we didn't think it was possible, right? We looked at
Yeah,
Google, we're
yeah.
like, dude, nobody could take out Google. And then we're like, oh, I guess
I guess not.
I guess it's happening. Oz, where can everybody go to be able to learn more about BLB, learn about the business lending blueprint and getting started with you guys, or they have an interest in breaking into the space, or they're already in the space of offering business funding, but they're not sure how to do it better. Where can they go? What action should they take?
Yeah, if they want more information, the best place is our YouTube channel. You can type in Oz Kunar or Business Lending Blueprint on YouTube, and you can find us. If you're specifically interested in Business Lending Blueprint program, the best place is to go to businesslendingblueprint.com. So we have free trainings. We have a little webinar for 20, 25 minutes that explains you what we deliver on. And then you can schedule a call with my team to find out if it is a good fit for you to invest into it. But if you're just generally curious about the industry, want to find out more about it, YouTube is the way to go. We have a couple of hundred videos there, and not as many as you do on your topic, but you try to stay up to date. That's the place to get more educated on the industry.
Sounds good. Oz, thanks for coming on with us today.
Great to be here, man. Thank you.
All right, so listen, if you're watching this, I mean, Oz literally has created the blueprint to success, and this is something he just created. Like he's been doing this for a long time and helped a lot of business owners break into the space. And somebody that I've referred business to as well, and brought on the podcast multiple times because he does such a great job at what he does. He's one of the thought leaders in the industry, and a phenomenal guy. And his morals and ethics and how he runs his business are unmatched. So this is what you should really do. Go to businesslendingblueprint.com. If you go to businesslendingblueprint.com at the top right, you can subscribe to his social channels right there, including YouTube, which you just talked to you about. So there's one action to take. Businesslendingblueprint.com. Top right, subscribe to his social channels. It takes seconds to do. While you're there, check it out, because he's got a free webinar that walks you through a lot of the things you're going to want to know, a deeper dive into what we talked about breaking into the space of business lending. He's got a blog there. He's got case studies there. He's got reviews there. So you can actually get an idea of what it's like to break into this industry and what kind of success you may be able to have. And it's all in one place, businesslendingblueprint.com. So check it out right now. Look, if you're not offering funding as a primary or secondary business, you're leaving a ton of money on the table. This is a problem that business owners have. A lot of you are in B2B. Your clients have this problem, they need it, and when they come to you for one thing and you end up getting them funding on top of that thing, you are their hero. And if you get them funding and that's their primary goal, you are the hero. Like, they will come back to you again and again, the referrals. And again, it's so lucrative if you know the steps to succeed. And that's exactly what Business Lending Blueprint does. So go to businesslendingblueprint.com, subscribe to his channel, and go ahead and take some steps forward to watch that free webinar so you can learn a little bit more about breaking into the business lending industry. Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to visit businesslendingblueprint.com.